Hello, Panthers families. I just want to take this time. I'm Mr Mclean. I'm the athletic director, assistant principal here at Nickerson High School. And I'm always proud to be a Panther and look forward to this information of the parents meeting that I'm about to present. Good evening, Panther families, Nickerson High School student athletes. We generally do this fall sports parent information meeting in the auditorium. With our situation this year, that's just not possible. So I've decided to get some information out to you parents and to you athletes with a video that'll be posted on Panther Activities and Activities Facebook, and will probably be shared out by several other people. So the fall sports parent information, as always, it's a great day to be a Panther. We're excited for the 2020-2021 school year and with all the activities that we possibly have planned. So first of all, I want to introduce you to our fall head coaches. These would be John Wellman, our head football coach, Julie Brower, the head volleyball coach, Lynn Smalling, head tennis, Kim Workman, head cross country, Marilyn Smith, girls golf, Bailey Gorgeous is our cheer coach. Our athletic trainer is Michaela Wassenberg. We're very fortunate to have Michaela from Sterling College. She works with all our coaches, all our athletes. She's at the high school every day at around 3 o'clock, attends almost all the events that she possibly can. So again, we're fortunate to have her services to help and care and give and be a valuable resource for our athletes during their seasons. And then Travis Oden is also our trap shooting club sponsor / coach. So very, very quickly, our high school mission, our athletic goals for Nickerson High School is that there is a tremendous amount of school pride that comes out of activities and sports. And we really want to emphasis on trying to increase student participation in our activities and our athletics. So we really like to see 3 sport athletes, at least for sure 2 sport athletes. By being involved in those different sports, it helps increase athletic skill. It's generally a common practice that kids that are out for athletics do better in the classroom. So we want to promote academic excellence within our classrooms. We value each student athletes for the activities that they are participating in. And so in general, we want to try to have the best possible athletic and activity programs for the students of Nickerson High School. That being said, there's something very important to being competitive in sports, and that is the weight room. Coach Wellman, our head football coach, does run our strength training program, and this is something that our athletes need to take seriously. It is the foundation for successful athletic programs. We do offer weight training classes in 6 out of our 8 blocks at the high school. We really encourage students that are out for athletics to be enrolled in one of those blocks. Our summer weight training that takes place, we always ask that this is a priority to our student athletes. But again, if we want any chance of having successful athletic programs, the weight room is something that needs to be taken seriously by our athletes. There really should not be a lot of motivation coming from Coach Wellman. There should be a lot of self-motivation from our student athletes wanting to be the best they can be. So if you're not enrolled in the weight training class, we highly encourage you to take a look at your schedule and see if you can get that accomplished. Social media, I have a Panther Athletics and Activities Facebook page that I use to promote Nickerson athletes, Nickerson activities the best way I possibly can. Others are involved in that as well. I would encourage you to follow this page on Facebook. It is also a communicator. If there are changes in schedules, any cancellations, anything like that, that is communicated through this Athletics and Activities Facebook page. My athletic director Twitter account for the high school is @AD_Nickerson. I would encourage you to follow that as well. Again, both these social media outlets, I really try to promote our kids, our sport programs, our activity programs with positive vibes, good things happening in Nickerson High School. And most of our athletic teams have their own Facebook page or Twitter accounts as well. I would encourage you to follow those also. Again, it's just a big communication device with our school community and again, promoting Nickerson kids. So one of the big things that I want to make sure you as parents and you as athletes understand is the eligibility piece of being involved in activities at Nickerson High School. Paperwork that needs to be turned in before you practice is a completed physical with all the necessary signatures. There are several signatures at both the parent and student athlete areas they have to sign. The concussion form, which again has to be signed by parent and student athlete. The student parent permission form, and the emergency information form. This is what we call the physical packet. All student athletes that are going to participate in activities at Nickerson High School, you must have a completed physical packet on file in the main office before you can practice. So August 17th here, Monday, first day of practice, 3:30 for most of you. You need to be having that physical packet into the office before that time. To participate in activities, you must be a student in good standing. You cannot be getting in trouble at school. You cannot be an in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension and be allowed to participate in competitions that particular day. You must be present in school on competition day, the entire day at school. For practice, you must be at school by noon to be able to practice. So these are all things that are part of the eligibility piece with Nickerson High School. Another piece is academic eligibility. CASIA rules, you as a student, you must pass 6 classes from the previous semester to be eligible. So if you failed 3 or more classes, you would be academically ineligible for an entire semester. Nickerson High School, to help with that, we have weekly academic checks. If you have 2 Fs the first week, you are on academic probation. You should be getting an email, your parents should be getting an email, your coaches, your administration, your teachers will be visiting with you at school to make sure that you understand you're on probation. This is your red warning flag to get your grades up. If you have 2 Fs 2 weeks in a row, you are academically ineligible to participate in competitions, and this runs Monday to Monday. The list is pulled every Monday at 8 o'clock. At that time is when, if you have 2 Fs for 2 weeks in a row, you would become academically ineligible. So again, this is just to make sure that you are not getting yourself in trouble on a semester basis. The 2 Fs do not have to be the same class. So if 1 week you have an F in English and an F in science, but you get those grades up, but the next week you have an F in social studies and an F in algebra. That is 2 Fs 2 weeks in a row, you would be considered academically ineligible. So again, this is a big piece of making sure that you're a student athlete first, that your grades are the most important, that you're getting your schoolwork done to keep yourself eligible for activities and athletics. I do touch real quickly on the NCAA clearinghouse for college eligibility. If you are an athlete that is interested in any type of college participation, you need to start preparing for that now. You need to set up a meeting and visit with Mr. Smalling, our high school counselor, or Mr. Steve Mathias, our other high school counselor. There are different requirements for NCAA Division I, II, and III, NAIA, or junior college. Each level may require a different ACT score, a different GPA, or a different class rank. So you want to visit with our counselors, make sure that you are on track with the clearinghouse if you want a chance or if it is an interest of you to playing college sports. Don't wait till your junior or senior year and realize that you might have to take a course your summer year or the summer of your senior year after you've graduated because you're not eligible through the clearinghouse because you did not take the required courses. Here at Nickerson High School, we do have random drug testing. Parents, you should have checked this box when you did the online enrollment. All students that want to participate in CASIA-sponsored activities must be in the opt-in pool, meaning that you are giving yourself the opportunity to be randomly selected for drug testing. If you are not in the opt-in pool, you are not allowed to participate in CASIA-sponsored activities. So if for some reason, parents, you did not check the box on the online enrollment, you would need to contact Mary Martin at the high school and let her know, because she is the only one that can change that. 99% of the time that box is going to be checked, and that's not going to be an issue. We will have a list at the school. If your son or daughter is on a roster and she's not on that list, then that means we know that you have not checked that box, and Mary will be getting in contact with you. We have 7 to 8 tests taking place through the school year, generally one per month from September till May. 8 to 10% of our opt-in pool is randomly selected by our company, all for one safety. We send our student ID numbers. We do not send the student names. Student ID numbers to the company. They punch it in their computer. The computer spits out the numbers once a month. They send us the numbers. We match that up through Power School with the students. And that's how we get our random pool of 18 to 24 kids each month. Now, parental expectations with our activities at our games or our contests. Parents, our coaches are constantly stressing expectations for their athletes, whether it's practice, classroom, work ethic, playing time. They are constantly stressing those expectations with your son or daughter. So we want to make sure you understand that there are parental expectations for you at our events. You are the adult. You need to be the best role model possible for other adults at the activities, but especially your kids and our kids of Nickerson High School. There is an important rule through CASHA, and I do want you to understand that we are a member of CASHA, the Kansas State High School Activities Association. If we're not a member of CASHA, our kids do not get the opportunity to participate in state competitions at the end of the season. Yes, we could still play games, but many schools will not play us because they are wanting to play CASHA member schools to get themselves in position for the postseason. So by being a member of CASHA, there are rules that we have to follow. And I've went over some of those already with academic and eligibility requirements. But Rule 52 is an important CASHA rule, and it's about how we act at athletic contests. And so you're not going to agree with officials all the time with the decisions they make during our contests. And a general quick reaction is going to happen. It's the constant negative yelling at officials, coaches, or athletes that could possibly get you removed from a contest. That's the last thing we want to do. We generally try to have conversations before any of this would take place. But understand that constant yelling at referees or yelling at coaches, yelling at players, that's not what we want from our Nickerson High School parents and patrons at our contests. You need to understand that we cannot change referees at halftime. We're going to have the same referees or umpires for the entire contest, and they're doing the best job they can to be as fair as they can for both teams participating. So just understand, we are asking you to do the best possible job of following Rule 52. Again, being a positive role model for the kids and our community. I've made this statement many times at this parent meeting that every contest, every concert, every time we do the musical, anything that our Nickerson kids are in front of people, it is a giant advertising board for Nickerson High School and the community of Nickerson. And we want it to be as positive as it possibly can be. So again, we're asking for your help, parents, in promoting a positive culture for Nickerson High School and the Nickerson community. That being said, with officials are becoming very hard to find, especially with our situation this year of COVID-19. Some officials are deciding not to officiate contests. So in short, there is a shortage of officials. Generally, officials quit because of the abuse they get from coaches, parents, or fans. Parents, you need to understand, and players, you need to understand that in the JV and C team contests, those games are generally going to be officiated by younger, less experienced officials. Those officials quit very quickly if they get constant verbal abuse. Those games are to give them some years of training to hopefully develop them into varsity officials. So CASHA is begging its member schools to try to recruit officials to help with the shortage. Seniors that graduate, it's a great part-time job if you go to college and you officiate junior high, JV, C-team freshman games. It's a great way to get started. You might get the bug, fall in love with it, and become a great varsity official. That CASHA is begging member schools to put that out there. You need to understand that if the officials of shortage does not get better, that games are going to end up being played every night of the week. It happens at different parts of the state right now with football games being played on Thursday nights, sometimes on Saturdays, just due to the fact that there's not enough officials in that area. And you need to understand that, yes, you're not going to agree with every official's call. I coach, I sure don't agree with every call, but we cannot play the games without officials. It becomes recess if we don't have certified officials officiating our contests. So again, going along with Rule 52, please be mindful of how you treat officials. Again, I would love for them to leave Nickerson with positive vibes as what they think of our students, our athletes, our community, and our fans. Now, generally, parents, there's always going to be, sometimes the sports season does not go smoothly. If there are problems between your student athlete and their coach, or their playing time, or any of those things, that is something that your student athlete, your son or daughter, they need to meet and talk with their coach first. Generally, that communication can help take care of a lot of problems. If that does not take care of a problem, the next step is that parents and you could call the coach to set up a meeting to discuss your concern or concerns with that coach and the particular season. You need to understand that halftime or after games is not the time to visit with a coach. Especially, halftimes, especially not, but at the end of the game, coaches are going to be emotional. It's just not a good time to confront a coach about any type of concern. So you need to practice, all Nickerson patrons, parents, you need to practice a 24-hour rule. Give yourself 24 hours to think about it. At the end of 24 hours, if it's still a concern to you, if it's still something that you and your son or daughter, a lot of times, visiting with your son or daughter, they may not want you to discuss with a coach, but give yourself 24 hours to figure out if this is something that is still a concern and is still something that you think needs to be brought up with the coach. Understand, as an athletic director, if you call me, my first question is going to be, have you visited with the coach? If you haven't, I'm going to direct you to discuss with that coach before I would have any type of communication with you. Now, after you've talked to the coach, if concerns are still present, then by all means, you could call myself or Mr. Blosser, our high school principal, and we could set up a meeting at the high school with the coach, the athlete, parent, and administration. But again, expectations, coaches are always talking about with your players, are expectations if you have concerns. Again, I would put a plug in. I'm very confident in our coaches. We have very good people coaching your son or daughters. They care a lot about their programs. They care a lot about your kids. And I think they're all open to communication with parents and players. Very quickly, I don't have a lot of information right now about COVID-19. We did have meetings with Keisha and our CKL administration. And within the CKL contest and Keisha contest, it will be required that masks are worn at all Nickerson events. If it's indoors, per se at a volleyball match right now in the fall, masks would have to be worn at all times. If it is outdoors, cross country, golf, tennis, those would be much easier to social distance and not wear the mask. Football could be a little more difficult, but if you're outdoors and social distancing can be maintained, then those masks could come off. But you need to understand that if you cannot social distance, the mask would need to be worn. And again, indoors at a volleyball match, the mask must be worn at all times. We will do our best to try to have our football stadium marked off with 6-foot spacing. Also indoors in our gym, we'll try to have the bleachers marked off with 6-foot spacing to help with that situation. Again, if we want our kids to have activities, we need to make sure that we're following these guidelines presented by Keisha, presented by the CKL to the best of our ability. We are also going to be looking at going as much cashless transactions as possible. So to get into the game, we would highly recommend and prefer that you pay with a credit card or a debit card. The cost for admittance into our contests is $5 for adults, $4 for children K through 12. If credit card or debit card is not an option for you, then you will need exact cash to enter the game. So just understand, and this will all be communicated again several days before our contest. But if you're coming to a football game or a volleyball game here in the fall, credit card, debit card, or exact cash to enter. The concession stand is a concern, and so concession stands this year will only be serving pop, candy, and popcorn only. And again, we would highly recommend and prefer that you pay with credit card or debit card. If you cannot, if that's is not an option, then exact cash. And I can tell you now that pop will cost $2, candy and popcorn will cost $1. Now, Tuesday night, again, we would normally do this parent meeting Tuesday night in the auditorium. It's usually a great night. It's highly packed. People, parents, and athletes are excited for the school year, for sports to be starting. And so not doing that this year. Tuesday night will still be the specific sport parent meetings. So football at 6:30, we'll meet at the Nickerson High School football stadium. Volleyball at 6:15, we'll meet outside the front of the main gym at the high school. Tennis will meet at 5:15 on the tennis courts. Cross country will meet at 6 o'clock at the main entrance of the high school outside. And girls golf will meet at 3 o'clock at Cary Park. Again, these are parent meetings for that specific sport. Tuesday, August 18th at those specific times. That is really about all the information I have. Again, I hope you understand that this is not a normal school year. It's not going to be a normal athletics year. I can promise you that we at Nickerson High School, and I know our organization of Acacia, they want athletics and activities to happen, but it's just not going to be normal. There are going to be things we're going to have to do that maybe we don't all agree with, but for our kids, we need to do them if we want to have activities. So I just want to wish everybody the best of luck this year. Make it a great year to be a Panther. Athletes, really, we're asking for you to have as best attitude as possible, to be coachable, to work hard and play hard, and to represent Nickerson with a competitive spirit, with a high amount of class and integrity while you're competing in your contests. And parents, again, we're really asking for one thing for you, and that is support. Support of our coaches, support of our kids, support of our school. And sometimes it's going to go well, and sometimes it may not. But we're asking for your support through thick and thin. So, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the high school. But I wish everybody the best of luck. And go Panthers.